Dear source of all that is, was, and will ever be, I thank you today and each and every day for all that you do and all that you do through me. I call upon you at this time to guide me in summoning the ascended masters, prophets, prophetesses, and the angels of the highest white light for our protection, guidance, and clear, concise communication at this time, as well as any necessary healing that you may be requesting, that we may be requesting. Please give us the courage and strength necessary for us to face all the challenges that are before us right now. Wrap us in your mighty wings and protect us from harsh negative energies. Thank you for always being there for us. Surround us in your light of protection throughout our day. Be at our side and guide our words and actions to come from a place of love. Please clear our energy and vibration completely of negative thoughts and beliefs, releasing fears and self-limiting beliefs. Help us to fully and completely experience love, light, and joy that is present in every moment and guide our path for our highest and greatest good. So it is, so it is, so it is. Hello, beloveds, and welcome back. This is Soul Sisters of the Violet Flame coming to you this morning. We're going to do more than one submission today. This one in particular, we are coming together to create a manifestation totem for this Lionsgate portal. This is a 5-card spread. And I will explain each position as we go. All right, we have the sage and the palo going. Open a window here. Just so slightly. And here we go. We are breaking out the animal totem to build this manifestation totem together. First, I'm going to take a little sippy sip of my coffee. Check it out, guys. I repurposed this container. It actually had old-fashioned mustard in it. And I thought that the container was so stinking cute. I was like, I'm going to repurpose that for a coffee mug. Oh, and it's just so stinking cute. We upcycle around here. Ah, yes. So here we go. Into the animal spirit totem. I'm going to bring out 5 cards and then we will go over them one at a time. Okay, here we go. One more shuffle. And now, let's see. 5 cards, please. 1. 2, 3, 4, and 1 more. And there we have it. Here's 1. Oh, 1 goes in the middle. Oh, let's see if we can adjust this so you can kind of see the table here. Maybe a little bit. All right. So 1, and then 2 at the top, 3 at the bottom, 4 and 5. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Building a manifestation totem. All right. So position number 1 is going to be the archetype as well as our chakra lesson. So let's go there first. We have the oyster. The oyster. So let's see. The energy of the oyster. My guess is that it's in the water element, and it is. So, oysters are hard to find out about. Oh boy. We are the best kept secrets, beloveds. That's the message I'm getting. We are the best kept secrets. Most of the focus is on eating them and their alleged aphrodisiac properties, but they are obviously so much more. Oysters are filter feeders and can have a huge impact on their habitat, improving water quality and clarity. They remove the crap stuff from the seas. They remove the stuff that pollutes our emotional world. That said, they are not constantly filtering. They regularly shut their valves to enter a resting state, a cycle of behavior which follows particular rhythms of the moon and sun. Could you use the movements of the moon and sun yourself to help clear your emotional puddle? Perhaps for you this could be regular self-care check-ins based on the moon cycle, or perhaps seasonal feels more appropriate for you, or both. Okay. While some oyster species have two sexes, they make both eggs and sperm, meaning it's technically possible for them to fertilize their own eggs. They spawn in spring when the temperature rises and the males and females release sperm and eggs into the water and basically hope they find each other. Believe it or not, some humans at some point in time could do that as well, until their glands were illegally removed. That's something that I'll have to share a little bit deeper on another time, because that even happened to me. Yeah, these glands in our reproductive organ area. That part. So, anyways, moving forward. They spawn in spring when the temperature rises and the males and females release sperm and eggs into the water and basically hope they find each other, which explains why you get beds of oysters rather than solitary ones. These beds of oysters provide habitats for other creatures such as sea anemones and barnacles. They also absorb some of the impact of strong tides, providing a barrier to our coastlines and offering protection. Small static objects such as oysters can make such a huge difference to the world, protecting coastlines, proving habitats, filtering water. These are epic, important things, and we really shouldn't overlook the power of the oyster. And not judging on appearance brings us naturally onto pearls. There's definitely an inner beauty metaphor going on here. With their hard crusted shell, the oyster is not an obvious place to look for a pearl, and the first person who found one there must have been surprised. Don't judge a book by its cover and all that, and don't forget to look inside yourself as well. As a society, we focus heavily on what we look like and ignore our internal characteristics. Look back at the card. It is literally shimmering with unseen tapped potential. That's the gold all the way around it. This is giving me solar plexus vibes. So there we have our chakra. And there is a message associated with that as well, which we will go into in just a moment. So what is a pearl? Pearls are created when something tiny gets inside the oyster and irritates it. The oyster reacts by covering it in layers of nacre, or mother of pearl, and many, many layers later you have a pearl. The appearance of the pearl depends on what the tiny thing was, as well as the natural pigment of the nacre. Beliefs associated with the oyster seem to focus on prosperity. If you want good fortune, carry a small piece of oyster shell with you. If you eat oysters on St. James Day, August 5th, then you will never go without food again. Well, we missed that opportunity, but hey, we still embody this energy nevertheless. Let's look into the solar plexus as the chakra lesson. The third chakra, the Manipura or solar plexus chakra, also referred to as the navel chakra, acts as the body's energy powerhouse. When spinning properly, the chakra allows energy to flow, but if it becomes blocked or clogged, you may find yourself feeling powerless, stagnant, or quick to anger. Here we dive into the specifics of the solar plexus chakra, what it is, how to identify it if it's blocked, and effect ways to clear it to get our energy flowing freely once again. The navel chakra in its natural element, fire. So we have water and we have fire in one image, as the sparkles of gold represent fire. Manipura means lustrous gem of the city and is associated with the natural element of fire. Its associated color is yellow, hence it links the fire and more broadly the sun. It is directly linked to our sense of self. This energy center is associated with our self-esteem. I don't really believe in self-esteem, so we'll just replace that with confidence. Sense of purpose, personal identity, individual will, digestion, and metabolism. When consciousness moves freely in this center, we are empowered by transformative energy. Signs that it is blocked. When the solar plexus chakra is out of alignment, digestive issues can arise. This misalignment can manifest in our physical body in a variety of ways. Disclaimer alert, I am not a doctor and this is not a diagnosis. Thank you, Yoga Journal, for the reference. Improper processing of nutrients, constipation, irritable bowel syndrome, eating disorders, ulcers, diabetes, issues with the pancreas, liver disease, and diseases of the colon. There are also mental signs. As we work with the solar plexus chakra, cultivate a willingness to gain insight into our understanding of power, individuality, and identification. Are there areas of our lives where we feel powerless? How does this manifest? When our navel chakra is blocked, we might experience some of the following: difficulty in skillful self-expression, aggressive, overly rigid or controlling behavior, being quick to anger, a victimhood mentality, neediness, lack of direction, feeling afraid or lacking courage, and feelings of stagnation or inertia. It also states poor self-esteem, but I don't believe in, I believe self-esteem is a lie. It's an intentional lie to keep us in low vibration. So again, we will be replacing that with confidence. So poor confidence as well as feelings of stagnation or inertia. When the solar plexus chakra is in healthy alignment, we will be comfortable with our own inherent power and become empowered. We will have a sense of who we are and why we are here. When we connect with our purpose, we gain a deeper understanding of how we as an individual can contribute to the collective in a beneficial way. We will let go of things, whether it's our job or bank account balance, that we depend on to define who we are. Those things may have value, but overvaluing anything that's subject to change is a quick road to suffering. We have inherent value. Take the time through practice to investigate it, and we will be less dependent on external sources of happiness. How to tune it up. awakening our inner power and helping us through any fear we may have around risk taking. This practice, using core work, twists, and pranayama to target this fiery chakra and transform obstacles into assets and fear into freedom. To further our focus on releasing trapped energy in the Manipura, there is a 45-minute solar plexus chakra flow from Yoga with Cassandra. Cassandra with a K, you guys. And you can find that on YouTube. Pranayama for the navel chakra. We can ignite a fire in our solar plexus through Kapalabhati, or skull shining breath, a pranayama technique that helps to release toxins and re-energize the mind and body. Okay, and to learn how to do this type of work, you can go to Echo Flow Yoga on YouTube. The benefits of having a balanced navel chakra. As we work to align this chakra, we will allow for the trapped energy to move more freely through the body, creating a higher sense of purpose and allowing us to feel better, understand, and to better understand our personal identity. We may find that we can clearly articulate our needs and desires and find relief from digestive issues and mental blocks. All right. Now let's move into the second position, which is mental concept and awareness. With that, we have the raccoon in terms of mental concept and awareness. This is Earth, I believe, yes. So now we're bringing in the Earth element with the raccoon. They are often associated with thieving and mischief because of the markings on their face and nocturnal behavior. They are adept with their hands, excellent for opening latches and doors. So far, the raccoon is not coming off well. They are eaten by a number of species, including bears, alligators, coyotes, owls, and other large birds. When threatened, they retreat up trees. Dexterity. They are noted for their problem-solving skills and their intellect, which is expressed particularly in their dexterity. Indeed, their most sensitive sense is that of touch. Because of this, they seem to explore the world through their hands, which brings to mind parallels with artists and writers who explore the world through their hands in the form of the art that they create. Perhaps this card has shown up for us to remind us to create more often, whatever form that might mean to us. When we create, we use a different part of ourselves, and it can be helpful for understanding the world. Masks. Let's have a closer look at one of the obvious characteristics. That face mask. In folk tales, probably because of their markings, they often play the part of a cunning trickster which outsmarts other animals. There is a theory that the markings help it to see in the dark with the black fur reducing glare. I'm not sure how true it is, but I imagine we can all relate to the feeling of wearing a mask, hiding one true self. Who in your life is wearing the mask? It might be you, it might be someone else. It's not us. What is their motivation? Is it shyness or deceit? The raccoon in the card could be seen as timid or seen as trying to hide itself. Our interpretation probably says something about what our mind is trying to tell us. Listen to it. Trust our own interpretation. Our words throughout this series are a way of being able to explore our own ideas as well as the nature of the creatures, but our own intuition is the most important aspect of any reading. Masks can be used to conceal identity for reasons of privacy. Fear, secrecy, disguise to allow us to take on a role of another, such as in acting. We all have lots of different faces depending on our circumstances, and these can be helpful when we need to call on different aspects of ourselves, i.e. the parent, the colleague, the manager, the friend, etc. But like everything, it's all about balance. Are you wearing too many masks? Are you spending any time without your mask? How tight is your mask? Are you being someone completely different? Can you remember who you are without your mask? Curiosity deleted the raccoon. One of the reasons that raccoons get into trouble is their curiosity, which leads them to explore, including homes and gardens and residential areas. Is your own curiosity getting you into trouble? Do you need to think about the consequences? Or maybe you need to channel the raccoon and bring more curiosity into your life. When faced with the unknown, if you feel the fear of the rabbit, perhaps you could transform this energy into the raccoon's curiosity. It's interesting to look at the different spirit animals and see how they relate to one another. We've seen that the raccoon deletes the rabbit, but perhaps the raccoon could do with a bit of rabbit caution. Wow. That was a pretty good match for the mental position, interestingly enough. The mental concept and awareness, being aware of our own masks. Are we wearing them when it's not necessary? Are we wearing too many of them? Are we still who we are? Do we remember who we are behind the masks? And so much more. I'm getting that we are being guided to tap more into our curiosities, but discern at the same time so that we do not lead ourselves into trouble. And sometimes it's our own mental state, how we think and feel about our own selves, that creates the masking, which can also lead to trouble, because even though we're being genuine, we're being authentic, what is external is not. Recognizing that. Okay. So now the next position in the totem is subconscious emotional component, and the number 3. And we have the nightingale. I love this card. Sing, sweet nightingale. Sing, sweet nightingale. Let's look into it. As our subconscious emotional component, the nightingale. Of course, with it being a bird, my first guess is it's air. So now we have all 4 elements, all 4 of the physical elements in the chat, so to speak. At the round table, here we go. A poet is a nightingale who sits in the darkness and sings to cheer its own solitude with sweet sounds His auditors are as men entranced by the melody of an unseen musician, who feel that they are moved and softened, yet know not whence or why. Don't listen to the narcissists who make fun of artists and call them BS. Because it is the artists who are also the architects, the master builders, the true master builders. That's a message for someone. The nightingale is an elusive bird, and perhaps then it is no surprise that finding out about him was not as easy as with some of the other birds we've looked at. Rarely seen and described as an anonymous brown bird, this is not a bird who uses his looks to stand out and attract mates. Message. No, he uses her voice. His song is a fast succession of high, low, and rich notes that few other species can match. And whilst he is most known for night singing, he does sing during the day as well. It is possible that his name, which means night songstress, has come about because few other birds sing at night, and thus he can be better heard. Notice that they're mentioning both masculine and feminine pronouns here, interestingly enough. Symbolically, this crossing between night and day is interesting. As we've seen with the owl, the night is about the unconscious and the unseen, but the nightingale exists comfortably in both the day and the night, the light and the dark. Our nightingale appears to be perched on the moon, suggesting that his journey into the night is one that is on his terms and one which he is controlling rather than getting lost to the mystery and the unknown. He moves easily between different levels of consciousness. Interestingly enough, this is the position of the subconscious emotional component. He moves easily between these different levels of consciousness, but is heard most clearly in the unconscious, where there is no competition, or where there is less competition. Perhaps our mind is trying to tell us something that we can't hear over our own thoughts. Meditation, tarot, and art journaling are just some of the ways we can tune in to our unconscious. The nightingale, as in the quote above, is which I just read. Thank you, Shelley, for submitting that. Is a symbol used by poets to evoke creativity and seemingly spontaneous poetry like song. The nightingale sings on, expressing himself day and night. Sing for the joy of singing. Share your light purely for the pleasure it brings you. In terms of mythology, he stars in the story of the emperor and the nightingale. I love that story, which teaches appreciation for what we have and for what is real. Always a good reminder in our materialistic society. It is also about letting go of what we love, not holding on tightly because of fear. He also appears in Greek mythology. Philomela. Interesting name. I'll have to work on that one. Had her tongue cut out to prevent her from telling anyone about her grape, and was later turned into a nightingale by the gods to help her escape from the death at the hands of her grapist. And thus the nightingale sings a sorrowful lament to this day. And fittingly, this is all that there is about the elusive nightingale. It is the male nightingale who sings, although for a long time it was thought to be the female. So perhaps it is the male tapping into their female aspects and archetypes. All right. The next position for this totem pole is number 4. What seeded this lesson? Ooh, we have the Scorpion. What seeded this lesson? The Scorpion, I believe, is fire. Yes, it is fire. More fire coming to the round table. That's okay. We're not afraid of the fire. We can step right into it and be refined by Source and the Most High. When you know, you know. The Scorpion was apparently one of the early creatures to venture onto land, and this pioneering, we'll just call him a trailblazer here, because, you know, he's blazing trails here with all that fire at the tip of his finger. A pioneering creature, and pioneer and trailblazer mean the same thing, by the way, asks us, what territories are we conquering? Scorpions are generally loners who only meet up to mate. This involves a passionate dance, sex dance, and once it's over, the female may eat the male. Something you may be more familiar with when it comes to spiders. Indeed, scorpions are related to spiders. Despite the fact that we generally view them with fear, these fierce creatures are rarely harmful to humans, and when death occurs after a sting, it is the stinger that is harmful, not their bite. It is often due to an allergic reaction. As with most animals, I suspect they generally only harm humans when we get in their way, such as when we put a foot in a shoe where they are resting. After all, they wouldn't have much interest in eating us. Scorpions much prefer insects, spiders, and even other scorpions. Mostly they lay in wait, sensing approaching prey through the sensitive hairs, and once close enough, they will ambush their target using their pinchers to crush it. Following this, they have to inject a chemical into the prey, which turns it into a sort of soup, which the scorpion drinks as they can't digest solids. They can go over 6 months without food if they need to. Oh, wow. This is suddenly getting a bit gross over here. Ooh. Ugh. 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 The ever-vigilant scorpion is defensive of their territory. They keep their instinct sharp and listen and act on what their gut is telling them. Be aware, pay attention, but don't strike too soon. That is one of the lessons. For us, there is a subtle difference between protecting and defending. Protection is about keeping something of value safe. For the scorpion, this is its territory, which provides food. Probably more so for humans, defense is a reaction. And in some situations, this is a reaction to a clear danger, but in a lot of cases, humans react defensively because someone has touched a nerve and we don't want to face that. According to someone called Sharon Ellison, quoted in an article about defensiveness in humans, to be defensive is to react with a war mentality to a non-war issue. Protection feels more about safety, whereas defensiveness feels more about shutting down an issue. Reflect on the subtle differences and see how they apply to our lives. This may also be a call to think about vulnerability. Yet another lesson. The scorpion has set up very clear defenses: poison, a hard shell, angry temperament, to prevent it from being vulnerable. But what are we losing out on because of that? Despite having 3 to 6 pairs of eyes, the scorpion has poor eyesight. This allows it to use starlight to navigate at night. The time when the creature is active, a call perhaps for us to do the same. Let the stars guide us. Stop trying to grasp a fully focused picture and instead relax into the vagueness and the feelings of the intuitive. And as some would call a sheikh, others a mentor, a great leader, a trailblazer of the light, we are taught that the stars were not only our original light, our guiding light, but also they were our source of navigation. So a guiding light in more ways than one. So in ancient times, traveling was mostly done at night because the positions of the stars would let us know where we are. And also we would look to another constellation or another grouping of stars to know where we're headed, to be able to set our eyes on our target, our destination. So there's that little tidbit that I learned from listening. And I am grateful, and it's an honor to be able to pass on that lesson today. Interestingly enough, with a creature teacher, an animal totem, animal spirit. As each and every one of these animals has their own energy signatures, just like we do, which is packed with archetypes, aspects, and lessons. I'm so ever so grateful for our creature teachers. Let the stars guide us. Stop trying to grasp a fully focused picture and instead relax into the vagueness and the feelings of the intuitive but unexplainable. In terms of symbolism, the obvious representation of the scorpion is Scorpio, both a star sign and a constellation. According to the wisdom of the contributors to the internet, we'll just say, Scorpio people are ruled by their desires, but their strength is resourcefulness, and this allows them to control their desires unless they have a plan to achieve them. A good lesson for all of us. As we've seen in the Scorpion's hunting technique, it is prudent to watch, wait, and go in for the, we'll just say, capitalization at just the right moment. Of course, there is a dark side to capitalization, but that is not what we are speaking on. We're speaking on being the trailblazers, the harbingers of the light, the bearers of the flame, beloveds, soul sisters and brothers of the violet flame. Of course, to reach the violet flame, we travel through the other energy wheels as well, including what we're seeing here, the yellow and the orange energy wheels, representing other chakras, including the navel, which showed up with the oyster. Here we have the blue, which is the throat chakra. Interestingly enough, the nightingale representing the poet, the artist, as well as the throat chakra. Wow. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So the symbol of Scorpio comes from the constellation Scorpius, who deleted the great hunter Orion. Orion has boasted that he could delete every animal on Earth. Mother Earth objected to this and sent the scorpion to delete him. Following Orion's death, the scorpion was given a place in the heavens, but on the opposite side of the sky to the hunter. Other, perhaps less known stories include one of the goddess Isis and her protector scorpions. When an old woman wouldn't provide shelter for Isis, the scorpion sought to avenge her by hurting or deleting, depending on which version you read, the old woman's son. When Isis found out about this, she reversed the poison and the son lived. In one fable, a scorpion asks a frog to carry it across a river. The frog hesitates, afraid of being stung, but the scorpion argues that if it did so, they would both drown. Considering this, the frog agrees, but midway across the river, the scorpion does indeed sting the frog, dooming them both. When the frog asks the scorpion why, the scorpion replies that it was in its nature to do so. Yikes. Yikes. So that is the subconscious lessons. Oh, getting ahead of myself here now. Back to the totem pole. So, what seeded this lesson? The scorpion. Now moving on to what resolves this lesson, we have the wolf totem. The wolf totem. Earth. More earth. So, in terms of what resolves this lesson, we have the wolf creature teacher. The reality of their solitary existence is tough. It's much harder for a single wolf to hunt and to survive. For example, one-on-one, a male elk would have the advantage. The wolf needs his pack to make this deletion. Lone wolves are most likely to be looking for a new pack, the place they fit in, a tribe of other wolves who understands them. Have you found your clan yet? So our clan, our tribe, our kindred spirits, our soul family, our cosmic familia, our chosen family. The strength of the pack is the wolf, and the strength of the wolf is the pack. Get it? Got it? Good. On the subject of packs, wolf packs consist of an alpha male and an alpha female, and other wolves who all have a defined place in the team. This means that when they are hunting, they can carry out highly coordinated and successful teamwork. These loyal animals have a strong sense of brotherhood or sisterhood, which helps the wolves survive and are much more nurturing than some stories would have you believe. What can you do for your own tribe? Where do you fit in your tribe? A lot of how we see wolves comes from our historic relationship with them as hunters. In some countries, they are feared and seen as creatures of evil because they delete livestock. In other countries, they are revered. For example, in Japan, the wolf has been worshipped because it kills the deer which eats the crops. How you feel about the wolf depends on where you're standing. Isn't that the truth? Some of us can relate more to the stance of the lone wolf, others the pack. One of many things about nature is the symbiotic and mutually helpful relationships that have evolved. The wolf is no exception, working with the raven to find prey. Flying overhead, the raven can spot prey that the wolf can't and lead the wolves to the food. In return, they get a share of the deletion. There is no raven in the wild unknown, but once we've made it through all the creatures, we do get to the part about getting to know coexisting species and adding to our understanding. Wolves are in their prime during the colder months, utilizing the weakness of other species during the winter to bring them down more easily. As cubs, they play with each other to fine-tune their hunting skills. This also serves to help strengthening the bonds between the pack. Their success as predators comes down to the combination of intelligence and their instincts. They listen to their gut and act fast. They can't sit around thinking and umming and ahhing and doubting themselves. They have to trust the feeling and go for it. When it comes to communication, wolves are excellent. They have their well-known howls, which can be used to share messages with the pack as well as to mark their territory. This is very important, for this highly territorial creature who will defend their space if it is encroached on. In terms of our own lives, most of us have very clearly marked physical territory, our homes, our cars, our desk at work, and these are generally not threatened. But what of our beliefs and our values? This seems particularly crucial right now, given the world's political situation. How are you standing up for your beliefs, for your values? When it comes to defending your territory, there is safety in a pack and strength in numbers. Have you found yours? We have this iconic image of the wolf howling at the moon. In terms of symbology, the moon is linked with our unconscious self, with mystery and with the shadows. To howl at the moon is going beyond glancing at the unknown, beyond saying hi to it, and is full on shouting, "Here I am, I see you, and I'm not afraid of you." This echoes the strength, bravery, and boldness of the wolf. At the other end of the scale is silent communication through body language. Essential. If we're trying to stalk prey. They also communicate through their sense of smell. Again, this is used to mark territory as well as communicate social position and as a signal to a female ready to breed. How are you communicating? What is your body saying that your mouth is not? Are you listening to what others are saying, or are you too busy thinking of a reply to really hear them? The wolves are dust. They can neither be read nor be captured. This unknown element of the wolf is probably heightened by their preference to avoid humans. In areas where wolves venture into human worlds, it's generally because their own habitat has been encroached on. If he said bread, that also makes sense. Despite domesticating dogs, we haven't been able to tame wolves. They remain wild and a symbol of the wilderness. Something which sometimes scares us, partially as it is unknown, but perhaps because there is something uncontrollable about it, something untamable, and yet the wolf has tamed it, or at least found a way to live in his environment. It can be hard to see how structure and the chaos of the wilderness can work together, but the wolf shows us that not only is it possible, it's advantageous. Without their pack system, the wolf would not survive in this habitat. Like the fox, these enigmas have been associated with shapeshifters in folklore, and it is possibly this which has led to the idea of the werewolf. In turn, this concept further enhances the idea of wolves as terrifying and dangerous. Frankly, they are noble, loyal creatures and have a bit of a subliminal message, as we should look past this to see it for what it truly is, an intelligent, highly skilled communicator with a dedication to family. We're being guided to find our tribe, to find our clan, or to recognize them anyways. Working together well, playing together well. I'm also seeing a bit of green in this oyster image. So we are also going to look into the heart chakra, the heart meridian, as part of our archetype and chakra lesson. And this will conclude this video. No apologies whatsoever for this being a long video, and if you made it this far, you are a rock star. Here we go. Shining some light on the green here. The fourth primary chakra and serves as our center of love for oneself and others, compassion, empathy, and forgiveness. The Anahata chakra is associated with unconditional love, compassion, and joy. It is the source of deep and profound truths as well that cannot be expressed in words. The fourth chakra one moment. How to unblock it. Meditation. Yoga is a way, if it's something that you lean towards. I know it's not for everyone, and everyone has their own belief system as well. Another great practice again, is the meditation. Try heart chakra meditation and use self-affirming and loving mantras. Some examples include, I am wanted and loved. I love and accept myself as I am, and my heart is open to love. Loving visualizations can also be beneficial. Sit quietly and picture something that makes you feel compassionate and full of love. For instance, a loved one being happy and fulfilled. Envision love and kindness as a green light radiating out of your body and towards others. Spending time actively showing love for others. Spend time with family. Volunteer to help those in need. Laugh with friends. Do something nice for a friend. Any action that comes from positive energy and love will open our heart chakra. We can't see the chakras, but we can feel them and their repercussions. Learning more about these chakras to deepen our practices and the connection between our physical and spiritual well-being may be beneficial. Signs of an overactive heart chakra, which is the opposite of being blocked. An overactive chakra has too much energy flowing through it. It's too open. In the case of love and compassion, this might not seem bad, but too much of a good thing always has consequences. Being too loving and too giving can backfire. We might have too much energy in the heart chakra if we depend too much on our partner or others. We might feel negative emotions and become needy and jealous in relationships. We might be possessive and have poor boundaries with others, letting them take advantage of us. We're giving too much of ourselves. Signs of it being blocked. Disclaimer alert, I am not a doctor. This is not a diagnosis. Physical signs: high blood pressure, lower immunity and more frequent infections, heart palpitations, poor circulation, respiratory conditions, self-loathing, anger and bitterness, loneliness and depression, selfishness, refusal to forgive others or oneself, inability to open up and connect with others, inability to trust people and fear of relationships, fear of betrayal, unkindness to others, and inability to empathize. In other words, a blocked chakra manifests as the opposite of love and compassion, both for ourselves and others. It's associated with the ability to love and be loved, compassion for others, empathy and understanding, forgiveness, self-compassion, joy and inner peace, the color green, the element of air, and a 6-pointed star, a 12-petaled lotus flower, jade and rose quartz. The heart chakra is right in the middle of the chest, close to the heart center. It corresponds to the heart, of course, but also the lungs, the thymus gland, and the cardiac plexus nerves. It's part of the lower trifecta, the 3 lower chakras: root, sacral, and solar plexus. So what I'm seeing here is the heart chakra is connecting the lower chakras and the upper chakras. And the 3 higher chakras are the throat, third eye, and crown, associated with non-material aspects of being like intuition, purpose, and spirituality. Where the root, sacral, and solar connect matter and things like physical security and sex. So when the heart chakra, being the seat of love and compassion in the body, when open, this chakra allows us to love others and to accept love in return. When out of balance, this chakra can cause significant issues from anger and bitterness to codependency and possessiveness. Learn how to understand our heart chakras and how to determine if it is blocked or overactive. We can use numerous different techniques and modalities to restore balance and bring love and kindness back into our lives. So there we have it, beloveds. 1 hour and a beautifully constructed manifestation totem for us. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I hope these messages find you well, beloveds. Happy Friday. And brightest blessings.